This is the first day of my life that I could ever say, I wish I was in Sacramento. That is a sentence that has never been spoken by me ever. But when I saw that Squirrel Squad Fiesta of Love at the Sacramento org, those vibes were so good. I just wish I was there. And I always thought Sacramento was so boring. Good evening. I used to go to Sacramento as a kid. I grew up not far from there, like an hour away. And anytime I went back later on, I was not impressed. But today, looking at all those live streams from Sacramento, I must admit I was getting a little jealous. Those people were really having fun. So, not even going to try to compete with that, because here we are at Human Trafficking Headquarters USA, and the vibes are not quite as jovial here as they are over in the state capitol, except we do have bees. So let's hope the Scientologists don't come and mess that up. We know Scientologists don't really care about living things that don't donate to the coffers. New location unblocked. Sacramento, you mean, I assume? Looks like Eric Rader up there to the left, if I'm not mistaken. Exciting. So here we go. Another chance to spread enlightenment vibes to the cult. And see if they stick this time. See how many people come out screaming, "Help me! Save me!" It stopped raining in Wales. Uh-oh. You are going to have a drought. Ah, please summon Odo. Yes. Where's Odo? Odo. Odo's always good for the view count. Everybody loves Odo. Everybody's favorite villain. The great Odo von Blankensteiner. Odo von Hubenguben. Something like that. We always forget. So, see what the dummies are up to today. Odo Huber McGuberson. Well, Keith, I know how you, I won't call you English because you're Welsh, but I know all you UK people are very fanatical about your gardening. I wasn't going to assume the Welsh were the same, but, it's all the same island. But yeah, kind of hard to cut grass when it's pouring down rain. So, all the North Korean excitement continues. All the hiding continues. And the lack of confront continues to astound onlookers. Where is that bull baiting of days gone by? Where is that agitation and confrontation? Not that I like that stuff, but it's funny seeing them try these ancient worn out lines on you, thinking that they are spewing brilliance. It's been a while since a Scientologist asked me what my crimes were. And, they feel so empowered when they say, "What are your crimes?" But then if you keep waiting, they will tell you their crimes, which is exciting. They will tell you either the crimes that they, Elron, Pyongyang, Lane, hell yeah, exactly. They will tell you the crimes that they fantasize about. They will tell you the crimes that they are guilty of, the crimes that they did prison time for. They will tell you their crimes and try to make it like it's your crimes. But I know what my crimes are. And my crimes aren't their little shitty little crimes. So, when is a Scientologist going to come and ask me that time-honored question? What are your crimes? And then another thing they like to say is, you are an SP. Do they just stay inside? Yes, they do. They apparently, it's completely miserable. Now, some of these people, it's not so much that they decide it. A lot of these people are kind of refugees on a certain level, and they come from other countries and they're promised religious visas here, and yeah, they're kind of locked in 24/7. They are not free to go. They are not free to leave. What are your crimes? What are your crimes? I don't know why they don't want to tell us about their crimes. But yeah, there are tunnels under this street so that they can move between this set of concentration camp buildings on this side and this concentration camp on this side, without having to resort to seeing actual humans who might remind them that they are in a cult. So it's probably a major pain in the ass for them, probably slows down their great work for humanity, having to divert, just like these prison buses that have to divert to make sure that they don't hear the messages of freedom. Because the messages of freedom are not really what they want to be listening to. You know, I mean, what good does that do the cult if they hear messages of freedom? I mean, that's the opposite of what any cultist wants to hear. So we're spreading galactic vibes of liberation. Speaking as Glarzok, father of Xenu, I call upon the cult members of this highly dangerous but also highly gooberfied cult to please realize that my son Xenu was only joking when he told Elron all of that crazy stuff. He didn't mean it. He was a kid. He was going through puberty. On our planet, puberty is a very psychic event. And as he was going through puberty, he psychotically mind melded with Elron, because Elron was fishing in some waters that he shouldn't have been, psychically speaking. And little Xenu, our treasured firstborn, tapped into the craziness. And as a prank, he told L. Ron Hubbard some stories, some outlandish stories that, you know, he thought that they would just have a little psychic back and forth, little joke, little inside joke thing. But leave it to Elron to not really be the most grounded person when it comes to bullshit stories. So Elron ended up creating a whole scam out of what sweet little Xenu told him. And the one thing I have to hand it to little Xenu, that he really did make it obvious. You know, most people would have just laughed right along with the joke. He didn't know Elron would be that crazy to actually run with it. And at first it was hilarious, and then later on it became more tedious. And now Xenu wants nothing to do with any of this crap. He's moved past it. So little Xenu now looks down from his galactic perch upon this North Korean monstrosity, and he does feel pangs of guilt. Little Xenu does feel guilty that, you know, people have been hurt by this story, and it's created some karma for little Xenu. And so, you know, he has to work that off through a lot of charity work. And it's good. It's a learning thing, you know, it's a whole learning curve for our whole planet. And others have benefited from the cautionary tale of Xenu and L. Ron Hubbard. And now people know that, you know, messing around psychically with insane science fiction authors can actually have some bad consequences. So, you know, unfortunately, these people are collateral damage. And, you know, we're trying to fix that. We're trying to wake them up. We're trying to help them clear up their illusions about Xenu, body thetans, the nature of the universe and reincarnation and all such things. But these people are stuck in the 1950s psychodrama of L. Ron Hubbard. And it's just getting goofier and goofier by the day. So, Welcome to the goofiest cult on the planet so far. Not necessarily the most sinister cult ever, but certainly the goofiest cult ever. Heaven's Gate, yeah, that was kind of goofy, but then it got sinister. So, you got the goofiness, sinister scale that you have to contend with when you're dealing with cult situations. And this is, there's a lot of sinister in this. Don't get me wrong. This is a very, very sinister organization. I mean, we got child trafficking. We got SA, unpunished, protected by the church. Okay, we have financial crimes. We have psychological crimes against humanity. We have indoctrination, manipulation. A lot of these things are really not good, we have to admit. But luckily, there's not a lot of surgical manipulation self-performed like Heaven's Gate. At this point, at least not as far as we know. And the worst elements of Kool-Aid drinking have not seemed to occur to the degree that they could, but we're probably getting closer by the moment because they're getting desperate. And desperate people either lash out at others or at themselves or a combination of both. And there is a lot of desperation happening here. There is a lot of the vibe of like, why are we doing this? What are we doing here? What is the point? But they can't talk about it yet. It's like a dam that everybody knows is going to break, but the lake hasn't reached the top of the dam yet. But it's raining, and the tributaries are bringing the water in. Sorry, I can't see comments right now because I'm in some bright sunlight, but I will go through them when I get into some shade. Keep leaving them, I'm here. But anyway, there is a lot of anguish in these buildings. There is a lot of depression. Untreated depression, because obviously you can't treat depression in Scientology, except by doing shit that'll make you more depressed. So you don't tell anybody you're depressed in Scientology, because they're just going to put you on the cans and give you a good interrogation. And that is not a cure for depression. That is a recipe for depression. One characteristic of depressed people is hiding out in dark rooms. We all know that. So here we go. All the windows are covered. That way, if you're feeling really depressed in Scientology, you don't have to go to the window and close the blind. That has already been done for you. So you could just sit in your room and mope and crumble into your depressed state. And no, you will not be allowed to take any antidepressants. You will not be able to have any medicinal marijuana or anything that could perhaps alleviate your depression and cause some laughies and whatnot. Oh no, that will not be allowed whatsoever. Don't even think about it. So they just sit there. Okay, unpopular opinion, but I actually feel sorry for the young folks. Oh, I feel sorry. We all feel sorry for them. They're missing out on dating, getting together with friends. Hell yeah. That's why we're doing this. We know that there are a lot of people that are just trapped. I mean, once upon a time, even Odo had a soul and had yearnings to like have fun and hang out and party, get laid, whatever. But souls tend to be crushed in a place like that. But it's not an unpopular opinion to have compassion for the victims of this cult. Not at all. That's not an unpopular opinion whatsoever. We are here for them. Yeah. Pretty extraordinary, these windows, huh? I mean, we talk about it all the time, how they cover the windows, how they hide, and they keep doing it. They can't help themselves. It's part of the cultish nature, and it just shows their vulnerability. Because if you can't hear a dissenting opinion, then obviously the powers that be are afraid of that opinion having some impact on you. Like if you came to me and said, the best country on earth is definitely Turkmenistan. If you said Turkmenistan is the best country on earth and America's the worst, is that going to really make me feel inadequate as opposed to Turkmenistan? I don't think so. I don't think you could do that. In other words, I am confident that this country, even though this is very like Turkmenistan, and those of you who don't know about Turkmenistan in detail, look out for my upcoming Turkmenistan video. You know, we compare this place to North Korea a lot. But the number 2 country of weirdness that is similar to the cult of Scientology is Turkmenistan. A lot of similarities between Turkmenistan and Scientology. And I know I'm being nerdy and weird. I get it. But that's part of my niche here. To talk about shit like Turkmenistan and to equate it to the cult of Scientology. It's just part of what I do. And I think I have the monopoly on that angle. Fortunately or unfortunately. That nerdy angle, yes. Cat girl, see you later. Okay. I miss saying goodbye to Chichikana. Yes, they do like to say you're trespassing, you're trespassing, you're trespassing. Like a mantra. And that's a very spiritual thing, as we all know. Mantras are very spiritual. And so some of the mantras in Scientology are, what are your crimes? 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 See? Very Tibetan. And, you know, they have a few, you are trespassing, you are trespassing, you are trespassing, you are trespassing. You know, it's very spiritual. It leads you into a state of deep meditation when you say these mantras. Reminds me of your son in the bedroom playing Fortnite for hours and hours. Yeah? Well, this is worse than that. They don't get to play Fortnite for hours and hours. There's no playing in Scientology. You know, playing, it's like that, what was that movie, Oliver, where he said, "Can I have more, sir? More? How dare you ask for more? And how dare you ask for more out of life, dude? Aren't you happy just surveying everything? Quit asking for more." Yeah. Oh, another prison van over here. Coming this way. Beautiful, beautiful. And the prisoners go to get deposited, who knows where. Ah, back at the special place. The special place, the Continental Liaison Special Office of Awesomeness and liaising. A lot of liaising going on over there. Okay. LRH, COB, Cruise, worst 2Ds ever. Why would yours be any better? Sea Org members, tired of living in lower conditions? Leave today, 727-266-5797. Yes, Sea Org members, today would be a really good day to leave. A really good day. An auspicious day. We are still in the Scorpio full moon period. So, you know, full moons, that's a time to just, you know, either go crazy or stop going crazy. Whatever you want to call it, but just get out of here. And here we see more window tech. All the windows are either mirrored or covered or both. Usually both. And the lion is not happy, and now it's all about quiet, please. We have religious services. We are praying to Elron. No, they cannot play with themselves. That's a high crime in Scientology. You can't just have fun. You can't just release your inner tensions on that level. You can't spill your seed or anything of that nature. I mean, you got to save all that for David Miscavige, Xenu. I mean, there's a lot of people lining up for that action. And you can't just think you're gonna go behind these windows and pleasure yourself. No, you cannot do that. So, the dying cult continues to die, and we continue to monitor the downfall. Okay, I lied. Are they isolated from security? What's that? They basically don't have TV, radio, any of that. I mean, not that there's zero. I mean, some people even have phones, but the thing is, even if they have access to communications like that, what you got to realize is, number one, they believe in the e-meter having more lie detector capabilities than it even has. So Scientologists are afraid to break rules because they are constantly checked with e-meters, which is like a rudimentary lie detector test. Um, so they are always afraid, even if they had a TV, even if they had a radio or an internet connection. Number one, they would be asked, do you have a radio, TV, whatever? They're 6 to a room. They can't really hide it, as they cannot with the self-pleasuring issues as well. So that's one part of the deal. And the other part is they're going to say, well, if you do have a phone, a TV, radio, whatever the hell, then they're going to start asking, what are you watching? What are you listening to? Right? And I mean, if it's on your phone, if it's a computer, if they even have that, they're going to be monitored. They're going to watch everything they do online. And even if they can't watch everything they do online, they're going to interrogate them. And these interrogations can go on for days, months, okay? And it doesn't take much. It just takes a little needle doing a certain little thing, and then that's it. And then they have to go on their punishment detail of whatever sort. And it's just not worth the hassle. And it was like Aaron said, with that Scientologists love Joe Rogan, but Joe Rogan's always goofing on Scientology. Not going to be long until Scientologists are not allowed to watch or listen to Joe Rogan. And when I say Scientologists, I don't mean Sea Org people that are here. I mean just normal members that have jobs and lives, and although decreasingly their lives are more and more controlled by Scientology over time. But yeah, the prison van, once again. So yeah, it's not that nobody in like what they call public Scientologists, they have access to everything, but still they're going to be interrogated about the media that they consume. And the public Scientologists, unlike Sea Org members, they are paying a lot of money for their interrogations. And so it kind of behooves them to not do anything that's going to cause an interrogation unnecessarily. Also, if you're not clear on everything, I think in order to do the OT levels, once you've gone clear, you have to do some major sec checking, which is massive interrogations. And when you do that interrogation, then if you fail, or if you need more work, whatever, then you're going to have to pay a lot of more money, do a lot more Scientology stuff before you're allowed to go to the OT levels and find out about Xenu and all that. And I mean, who would want to delay finding out about Xenu? As if you don't already know, people. Give me a break. So yeah, they have a lot of incentives not to tune in to anything negative about Scientology. And I mean, you see how they run away from the cameras. how they hide in their buildings. These are not people that are curious. That all their signs start off with curious question mark. Well, curiosity leads to investigation. It's a good sign of intelligence. And they know that people that are not in Scientology tend to be more intelligent than a lot of people in it, at least on a working level. I'm not saying these people don't have IQ points or whatever. They do get a lot smarter once they leave. That's scientifically documented. But curiosity is not rewarded in Scientology. Following orders is rewarded. Hey, Keith. Well, thanks for coming on here and hanging out with us and spreading the joy of Welsh life. Oh, they're doing a hip hip hooray in there. They're doing enforced cheers. That's how they fake each other out into thinking good things are happening, progress is being made. Yay! Yay! Oh my God, it's so amazing! We're still in a cult, can you believe it? Yeah. Sounds like a Nazi meeting in there. Yeah, you guys probably can't hear it, but they're all doing some cheers and hip hip hoorays and whatever. So they probably just made like the lamest announcement you've ever imagined in your life. And everybody goes berserk, you know, like it's the return of the Beatles or something. So yeah. If you guys are so thrilled about everything, why don't you share the joy with the outside world? Because you can't. Because you have a whole movie studio and a whole TV studio, but all you can make is North Korean propaganda films, let's be honest. That's all you really do. You worship St. Hill as if it was something, and it never really was what you claim it to be. Another joke, another farce of Scientology. Now you notice a thing like this. Here we have a hallway going between buildings, and why is it so important for all the windows to be covered in this hallway? Why are these people not allowed to look upon their North Korean street? And why are the visitors to North Korea not allowed to look upon the cult members? And why is the window tech needed in every single building, even when it's just a passageway? Following orders is fun. Interrogations, your crimes, baffles me how they put up with all that nonsense. Well, you know, it's the frog in the boiling water analogy. They get you in, and the water doesn't feel that boiling because it's not right in the beginning. Now, I don't know any other streets where you can't park on either side of the street at any time, no parking. Okay, LA needs parking. This is a car town. So, what is the political muscle that Scientology had that made them do that. Now, and you know, there are actual normal humans living in some of these buildings, so they can't even have friends come over and park in front of their house. If you thought living in an HOA was bad, try living on L. Ron Hubbard Way. See how you like that. That must be a joyful experience to have Scientology as your permanent neighbors. But, you know, one good thing for us, one good little PR thing, is that every time any civilian happens to drive by, they get to kind of wonder what's up with these people out here filming and whatever. How many people get reached by that? I wonder. You know, I think it's really a multiplier effect. Because somebody goes home and they're like, what was going on with that? What's going on over at Scientology? So maybe they Google it, maybe they go on YouTube, whatever. They find out about it. They tell some people, hey, I was just going by Scientology. It was weird. All these people are filming. I don't know what's up there. And then maybe some of their friends are like, oh, you don't know about that? Right? And so conversations happen. And those conversations then get relayed to other people. This information is spreading just like the number of channels on sptv.space. Fluffer Squirrel UK did an amazing thing for the world in creating sptv.space, the website, to find out who's going live, who is where, and what are they doing in this movement to protest this cult. I am really grateful to her for this initiative. Although it gets addictive, but what I do is I go on those channels that I don't know about and I subscribe right away. And I hope you guys do too. I hope you subscribe to all the channels on there. Every time I go on one, I see I'm not subscribed, I hit that subscribe button. So please go to sptv.space and check out the other channels all around the world in different locations. You can see who's live streaming in real time. And you can say hi to everybody in the chat. And we are building a huge international community of people dedicated to similar things that Scientology claims that they're dedicated to. But we're really doing it. We are really helping mankind in a way that Scientology just claims to. But one of the best things that you can do for mankind is to expose these cults, these high control organizations, and let the world know what's up with this. It is super important. So yeah, I feel like actually taking you guys on a ride, maybe going to a different location. Who wants to go on a little Hollywood tour with me? Let's do it. Couldn't they have at least made it a yellow brick road? That would have been fun. But then everybody be looking for that man behind the curtain. And then little Davy would be at risk of exposure. We wouldn't want that for little Davy, would we? We wouldn't want him to get overexposed. Just changing up my gimbal situation. Okay. There we go. Let's see what else there is. Nice. Like to see this. Somebody has been very lax in their allowing this information to remain up. Now I'll know if anybody actually in Scientology watches my stream, because it should only be moments before they're out there tearing that thing down. But here we are, the side of the building. No more visual access than anywhere else. Still all locked down. Still in the surveillance perimeter. I used to miss these trees when I didn't live in California. They are weird though, aren't they? They look pretty Jurassic Park-like, you know, from a different era. So we're leaving North Korea and heading to another part of the Scientology dictatorship. Let's see where we end up. Who knows? So many choices in this Scientology zone. We are very lucky to have so many culty choices. Yeah, you know, when we wonder about why would anybody do this, why would anybody stay in Scientology, we have to remember these are not people who are making, we got a fan over there. These are not people that are just sitting around one day making a rational decision. These are people who are manipulated oftentimes in their lowest moment of life, at their most vulnerable moment. And they are manipulated by a system that is custom designed to use the vulnerability of people against them. And these are not people who just said, let's see, am I going to be a Baptist? Am I going to be a Muslim? Like, what do I feel like being, you know? No, these are people who Like, my still most watched video, I think, ever was this guy who, when he described joining Scientology, he said that he was raised by his grandparents. And you could see that on my videos. The guy in the yellow leather jacket, he was raised by his grandparents. His grandparents died. And then his fiancée broke up with him, if I'm remembering the story correctly. And, you know, he went to some therapists and whatnot. Nobody could really help him. And then, you know, he even described how vulnerable he was. He was super vulnerable. And so he ends up at Scientology. And he felt like they helped him. And so he, and the guy had been in Scientology for many, many years. And he obviously had done very little coursework for the amount of time he was there. Very, very little. You know, he really wasn't very informed about Scientology, to tell the truth. And it was sad. It was a sad thing to see what this guy's situation was. And the fact that, you know, he honestly was grateful to Scientology. He really felt like they had done a lot for him, done what nobody else had done. And so, you know, I get it. If you're desperate and you're vulnerable, if you have ever gone through horrendous grief, you know, through a breakup, somebody dying, anything like that, when you're at that stage where you're just like, please, somebody help me, anybody. You ever heard that phrase? Somebody help me, anybody. Yeah, be careful what you ask for, because that anybody could end up being a cult. And oh my God, now you just signed a deal with the devil. And that's not a good thing to do. Really not a good thing to do. Not advisable. So, but that's how they get you. They get you when you're vulnerable. They get you to sign the deal with the devil. And then they give you some nice experiences. They give you the feeling of, you know, whenever you do a Scientology auditing session, you always have to declare some wins at the end. You got to say what you got out of it. So basically, you have to say, it worked, it helped me, or you are not going to be allowed to leave the room. Yeah, you could always leave the room, but it's going to be a big drama in Scientology if you leave without permission. It's like the military. You go AWOL, and that is a massive offense. And so what happens is they lure you in step by step by step into the cult, and it's the frog in the boiling water analogy. They keep turning up the heat just enough so you don't notice all the time. You don't notice how hot it's going. You don't notice how stuck you are in this cult. It doesn't seem that different from one day to the next. And so you don't realize you're screwed, you're trapped, it's too late. And it's a very horrendous thing that happens to people. Meanwhile, you have lost a lot of your friends because Scientology has convinced you that these are bad people. Because anybody that questions you joining Scientology, well, they might be an SP. And if you're connected to SPs, well, then you become a potential trouble source, PTS. And when you are a potential trouble source, you are not allowed to do any Scientology. And then they just beat you over the head until you either disconnect from that person or you have to quit Scientology, or at the very least, remain this persona non grata PTS status for a long time until you do what they tell you to do. And so, but remember, the love bombing is what keeps people, you know, they say when people smoke crack, which I have never done, they say that the first hit of crack is the best hit ever. And that every time you smoke crack after that, you're chasing that feeling of that first hit of crack. And it'll never happen again. You'll never have that feeling again, no matter how much smoke you crack. Yeah, how much crack you smoke, how much smoke you crack. But you go chasing that high. Well, that's what Scientologists are doing constantly. They're chasing the high of the beginning stages of Scientology where they got love bombed. Love bombing is a very addictive thing. It creates, I believe it's called oxytocin, whatever. It's the pleasure chemicals in the brain and the body. When you get the love bombing, when you walk into a room and everybody treats you like a beloved movie star, that's the way they treat you at the beginning of Scientology. They treat you like you are beautiful, you are intelligent, amazing, everything. Every word that you say is profound. Okay, that's love bombing. This is the same thing that narcissists do to get you hung up on them in the relationship. Scientology, I've made videos about it, check them. Scientology and narcissism have many of the same characteristics, attributes, and strategies for manipulating people. Okay, narcissists will love bomb you. They tell you what an amazing person you are, how you are the best lover, you are the funniest person they've ever dated, all that kind of stuff. They tell you all this crap. And you're like, really? Oh my God. I mean, I always knew I was funny, but nobody got it like you. Okay, and once they got you hooked, and it's literally a chemical dependency that you develop. It's a chemical addiction to them. Well, Scientology replicates that in their love bombing strategy. They replicate the feeling, the amazing feeling of being adored. This is a feeling we all want. This is a feeling that when we're babies, we have that feeling some of the time, and we are traumatized to the degree that we don't have it all the time. As babies, that's part of our narcissism. You know, we expect adoration 24/7, and we never get it. We never get the 24/7 adoration. And we're seeking it like that first hit of crack. We keep seeking, where's the adoration that I know I deserve? So when you date a narcissist, or when you join Scientology, you get a facsimile of that adoration. And what happens is you get hooked. You're like, finally, the adoration that I always knew I deserved. And once you get hooked, once they got you, well, now they start taking it away. Now they start messing with you. And so, and then you go into this mode, this panic mode, where you're like, how do I get it back now? How do I get this back? And then guess who tells you how to get it back? They do. The narcissist, the Scientologists. They tell you, well, you've been bad. You have been bad. And so now you don't get the adoration. But if you sign up for the next class, well, then, you know, then you're going to get a little bit, we're going to give you a little hit of that adoration again. Okay? But we have expectations about your behavior. And when you don't sign up for the next class, they're like, what? What happened? Oh my God. I was getting so thrilled about your potential, but maybe I was wrong, right? So they start taking the love away. And that gives you a reaction like a junkie going through withdrawals. And those withdrawal symptoms are painful. And so, you know, if you are withdrawing, if you're having withdrawals from heroin, then somebody's standing there with heroin and they're like, well, I could give you this, but, you know, you've been bad lately. You're going to be like, what do I got to do? What do I got to do? And you're liable to do things that you would never have done in a normal situation. And so that's when they got you. That's when you're hooked. Okay? And so now they play the game of deprivation and just spoon feeding you a little bit at a time just to keep you hooked. So here we are at Sunset and Vine, Hollywood, USA. And we are contemplating love bombing, Scientology's similarities with narcissism, and other such related topics. Okay, everybody, just getting a little situational here. Let's see what's up. Get situated. And see what other Hollywood action we can get involved in here. Voila. Okay. Let some cars go by. I don't want to have my door ripped off. That would not be advisable. All right. Little wildness going on in the local park here. Fun, fun, fun. Probably not where you're going to take your children. Let's go check something that we have not visited in the past. A lesser known Scientology landmark here in Hollywood. More like a front group. You know, Scientology does like to hide behind its front groups, like many cults. And they like to pretend that they care about the unfortunate. I mean, that's a scam of many, many religions, obviously. Through time, the people who prey upon the vulnerable are the ones who start foundations to protect the vulnerable. What a good way to meet the vulnerable, huh? See, if you make it's like this asshole lawyer who just screwed over all of these victims of Scientology. And this lawyer who's supposedly helping people who were victims of SA then basically replicates the same crimes with those same victims, preying upon them. The Citizens Commission on Human Rights, run by the people doing human trafficking, child slavery, forced labor. These are the people who dare to pretend that they stand for human rights. The people who force members to have abortions. What a great way to hide your crimes. Just create an organization seemingly dedicated to fighting those exact same crimes. Brilliant tactics if you're an evil dictator. So we're back on Sunset Boulevard. You might have heard of it. Kind of a big deal around these parts. First I thought it said jerk tard. I was like, what's a jerk tard? But I guess that's not what they're trying to say there at the jerk yard. And in Jamaica, jerk has a slightly different meaning. So, as the signs over there say, restoring human rights. I wonder if they believe in the right of somebody to go in filming them restoring human rights. I wonder if they are for that right. What do you think? Oh, I like that little Spanish balcony situation there. Very cool little slice of old Hollywood architecture. Over there too. I love the Spanish style architecture in California. My favorite style. So let's go see the people that are restoring human rights to this quadrant of the Galactic Federation. Citizens Commission on Human Rights. Hey, I'm a citizen. wonder if they have window tech. Oh, they do. What a shock. Oh, yeah. Each year, 2,000 prescriptions for antidepressant drugs are written for children. I think it's probably more than 2,000 people. But what is your solution to that, Scientology? Abortion? Forced abortion? The hidden enemy between the shootings and you know what? That enemy is not getting the abortion when Scientology tells you to. Do we have curtain tech here too? Psychiatry, an industry of death. The museum. Wow. Hoppin' place we get here. These people are actively protecting the human rights of all mankind, as we can see, with video surveillance. The Commission on Human Rights. How many people have had their human rights protected here? What would be your guess? Oh, since I was driving, I couldn't see that. Let's see. I'm not the only one that thought it said tarred. Are their human rights being protected right now as we speak? That dude looks like he has very few human rights, if I would have to make a wild guess. So yeah, here we have a protected walkway with limited visibility. Oh, check it out. Check it out. Yeah, that's what you do at the Commission for Human Rights. Lock the gates and shut the doors. I love it. I love it. You guys can always count on Scientology to do exactly what they always do: to hide, to cower in fear. Gate tech. See, they don't want to deal with human rights. They don't want to deal with humans. They want to deal with cult members. Nobody's believing your bullshit cult. Nobody is into this shit. Do not enter with symptoms. No, no, no. Hey, there you go. Are your human rights being respected, Otto? Now, if your name was Odo, you might have a better chance. But you are Otto, so that's different. Scientology, a religion of death. You with me on that one, right? Yep. And it's not even a religion, but whatever. I'm being Christian today. Scientology, a cult of death. Scientology will take your money and steal your children. Stop Human Trafficking by Scientology. What's that? Did I what?
You built that robot?
No, I got nothing to do with that. That's just, that's like food delivery or something. I don't know. Somebody on here told me kick the robot. I think it delivers food. That's by assumption. I don't know what the hell. People are asking me on here. You ever been in there?
No.
Good thing not to. I came up here filming, they just, all of a sudden the gate starts. They hide. These people hide, man. Scientology. Yeah, they're evil.
I'm going to say something. I'm Native American.
Yeah?
And,
Can I film you?
I'm an actor anyway.
Okay.
The Jews, the Christians, and the Muslims, I don't have nothing against anybody personally, but I know that they had something to do with the revolt of the slavery trade. So if anything they have anything to do with that slavery trade, that means it's all negative from the beginning. That's how the Moses told us this, brother.
Well,
it starts negative,
yeah.
negative. The only way that
Well, these people are doing slavery right now, today.
The only way that it can change, it has to be wiped out and started all new. That's the only way.
Right.
Enjoy.
Hey, I wouldn't mind having a big reset on all those religions. I agree. I agree with you.
Why do you think they're trying to keep Trump out? That's what he's trying to do. He's Native American.
I don't know. I'm not with you on the Trump thing, but
Well,
you know, we got to come at it from different directions.
I'm 61 years old. I remember
Me
when
too.
that first came out, and they called it nigger music. And I'm gonna share something with you.
Yeah.
That music is played in everything that's almost on television and movies and all that.
Right.
And guess what? He was one of the ones that gave them a place that a venue would have it.
Right.
Because other people wouldn't do that.
Right.
Not only that, Tyson, you remember Tyson couldn't fight no one else, but where?
Have a great day. So, yet another Scientology group locked up behind closed doors, afraid of the world, afraid of these humans whose rights they are supposedly all about protecting. But everything they do shows how full of shit they are. And that's a blessing. Let's admit it. It's nice that Scientology is this ineffective in their bullshit. That's a good thing. Imagine if they were better at it. Imagine if they had a Goebbels. They got no Goebbels. Hey, Scientology, you need a Goebbels. But I hope you don't get one. Yeah, but that Goebbels shit wouldn't work these days anyway. But yeah, so here we are at two Scientological front groups. Now let's see, where can we see the word Scientology? Let's see where it says Scientology here. We know that they're very proud of Scientology. Scientology, an industry of death. Scientology, promoters of slavery and human trafficking. So where do we see the word Scientology here? Can anybody find it? No smoking, no vaping. I see that. CCHR, still nothing about Scientology. Why doesn't it say Scientology, people? Are you guys afraid to say Scientology? Is there any signage that indicates that we are dealing with Scientology? It doesn't seem that there is. Notice that? No mention whatsoever of the dirty, nasty cult of Scientology. Isn't that amazing? Wouldn't you think that they would be so happy to tell you that they are all about, oh, maybe it'll be up here, maybe up here. No. Citizens Commission on Human Rights International. No mention of Scientology whatsoever. No L. Ron Hubbard. No David Miscavige. None of that. Oh no. Why not? Why not? Why are you not admitting that this is Scientology? A symbol at the top of the building. Let's see. Is there? Well, you tell me if you see it. Maybe when we cross the street, we can see it from a distance. I don't know. But from what I can see so far, there is no sign that they are admitting to what they are. A front group for the evil cult of Scientology. The evil cult of Scientology likes to hide in more ways than one. They are not content to just hide behind curtain tech, blind tech, yawn tech, and all the other forms of techs that hide them from reality. Oh no, that is not enough for their hiding fetish. No, no, no. They also have to hide from even being seen as, okay, I'm going to actually obey this light because there might be reasons to do so with the weird turning systems of LA. Yeah, so Scientology hides behind windows, but Scientology also hides behind front groups. It's a very devious organization, to say the very least. And it's not working, Scientology. Restoring human rights? My ass. Give me a break. Restoring human rights. You think Scientology won't even admit that this is Scientology. They don't even allow you to have the right to know that this is a front group for Scientology. I know somebody who happened to stumble into that museum of psychiatry, the industry of death, and they went around the whole museum and looked at everything. It was like a hot summer day, and they saw, oh, free museum, cool. You know, I can get out of the heat, get my ass into some air conditioning, you know, for a half an hour, cool down, excellent. So they go through this whole museum, and obviously, one of my favorite movies ever, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, all about how bad psychiatry was back in the day. Back in the day that L. Ron Hubbard made up his whole thing about psychiatry. And yeah, anybody can have issues about psychiatry and and over prescribing psych meds and all that. Yeah, doesn't mean like, it's not either or. It's not either you're a Scientologist and you believe all their bullshit about psychiatry, or you're 100% in favor of overprescription of psych meds. It's that L. Ron Hubbard thought that Dianetics was going to replace psychology and psychiatry, and when they laughed him out of the room, when they had a chuckle, no, more like a guffaw about Dianetics, he got all bitch ass on them and started being like, they are the most evil people in the world. Okay? He was behaving in his normal scorned, sensitive man with highly sensitive gums and highly sensitive teeth, as you can see from the pictures. Yeah, I don't see any symbol of Scientology. There is no sign that this is Scientology, but this is Scientology, people. And this shows you, you know, like the Nazis used to call it, the big lie, you know, and the strategy was tell a lie that's so audacious that people think, oh, nobody would lie that much. I mean, that's so crazy, it has to be true. That is the big lie strategy. So, when you are one of the top abusers of human rights in America, what do? According to the big lie theory? Well, you create the Citizens Commission on Human Rights. And so then when you get accused of your human rights abuses, you say, us? We are some of the premier defenders of human rights in this quadrant of the Galactic Federation. How dare you say that we have negatively impacted anybody's human rights? We have a whole building on Sunset Boulevard where we promote human rights internationally. Oh, nice echo. I like it. Okay. And my immaturity continues. So yeah, the big lie. The big lie, a strategy of Hitler, and a strategy of the cult of Scientology. When you force minors into international human trafficking, when you force Sea Org members to have an abortion, you are not a big proponent of human rights, according to most people, I dare say. And so what do? Well, of course, you create a human rights organization. Of course. What else would you do? Well, I thank you all for being here. And if you have it in your heart to give me a little like on your way out, I would appreciate it. And I will see you again very soon. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.